Welcome to the little boxes made of Ticky Tacky. I'm Atlas Novak. This is the Bad Reading Podcast. My guest today, I'd be surprised if you've seen him anywhere. This is Cole Clayton, everybody.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. How are you dealing with COVID and the whole lockdown situation?
It is what it is at this point. It's been, 9 months?
Yeah.
Just kind of getting used to it.
Yeah, like people who, like, did the initial, like, lockdown quarantine sex are now having those kids.
Right.
Probably. So there's, like, some kind of baby boom going on right now, I'm guessing.
That's how I figured it would be, too.
Yeah. I met you doing the Eargasm comedy contest.
Yeah. Did you have fun doing that, by the way?
I had a great time. It was very fun. I felt kind of bad because they were like, "We're doing another one." I'm like, "Do I submit again?" They're like, "You got to the finals. Just chill, dude." I'm like, "Okay, fuck, I won't do it."
If you want to submit, man.
I guess. How did that come to be exactly?
I don't want to take credit for it, but it was kind of actually my idea. It was right at the beginning of COVID, and we were all trying to figure out how to, like, handle it. I was like, why don't we just throw, like, a virtual comedy festival, and we'll have, like, a tournament and everything. And we were like, well, the festival seems kind of far-fetched. We don't have, like, all of the plugs and the money to do that. But we can do a comedy contest. So we got it together and made it happen. Took a while, but
I had a great time. Are you guys still taking submissions for the next one, or?
Yeah, till the 5th.
Oh, okay. So this will come out the day before. Oh wait, no, we're recording this a week in advance. So by the time you hear this, it'll not matter, and you missed it. Sorry.
I don't even know when it is. I think it's before Christmas.
Okay.
Is when the competition is out. So.
Gotcha. So one thing I like to ask the guest here on Bad Reading is, what are you into?
I'm in all kinds of stuff. I'm into superheroes and anime, and I'm a little bit of a younger dude, so, like, yeah, I'm into, like, cartoons still.
What year were you born?
1994.
You and me both, sir.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so because, like, when I asked for, like, the initial list of, like, stuff you wanted to do, it was like it perfectly was stuff we already covered. And then I was like, oh shit, okay, give me like 2 or 3 more. And then you gave me Wolf of Wall Street and Weeds. And Wolf of Wall Street, I only found one, like, story, but it was too short.
Right.
I might read that at the end as, like, a little bonus. But Weeds definitely had a lot of stuff. You know, Weeds, the 2005 to 2012 show that was about a suburbanite housewife, or widow, sorry, selling weed, and all of the... It was like Breaking Bad a couple of years before Breaking Bad.
Right, yeah. That's, that matter of fact, that little tidbit, the dude pitching Breaking Bad, he kept getting turned down because everybody was like, it's too much like Weeds, and he had never even heard of Weeds. So.
That's trying to be the most frustrating thing ever. What, you don't know Weeds? No, I don't. Read the goddamn script.
Right.
And ironically, like, Breaking Bad has definitely overshadowed Weeds.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I like both shows, but I'm a Breaking Bad guy, for sure.
Same. I think the reason being is, like, how many... There were, like, 7 seasons, right? Or, like, 6? Something like that?
I think it was Breaking Bad, it was 5.
No, Breaking Bad, it was 5. Like, Weeds, because it's like...
Oh, Weeds had, like, 8 seasons. It was, like, a lot of seasons.
And after the 3rd season, they leave suburbia. And then
right.
it just turns into this thing, and I really didn't like it.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, okay, let's literally burn down our setting and go somewhere else. You're like, but
Yeah, it was supposed to be like goofy and comedy, and then it got dark
yeah, and then it
there
was
on.
the like I looked up like IMDb trivia for it, and they were like they ran out of jokes to make about suburbia, and I'm like, that's when you end the show.
Right. It would have been fine if they had ended it there.
Yeah, I think this was before the era of showrunners being like knowing when to quit, though.
Right. Yeah.
I think like
Does
starting.
that?
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
And I was going to say, I think starting in the 2010s, you had showrunners who like, I have a specific end goal in mind, and I'm going
Right.
there, and I'm going no further.
And I want to attribute a lot of that to Breaking Bad, because Breaking Bad was like the first show where I felt like, wow, it's only been 5 years. It's only been 5 years since they started, and they're already done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then I feel like everybody else kind of hopped on that. Only one that didn't quit, I feel like now is like The Walking Dead. Walking Dead's still going on. I think
Right.
they're ending it next year. But
Oh, really? Oh,
11,
damn.
11 years with The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Well,
Because that's easier to do with like animated shows because, you know, the characters don't age physically.
right.
And you can there's more stuff you can do with animation, but like live action shows, it's really hard to keep that going for a long
Yeah,
time.
and I feel like with animation, people like you don't have to be in the studio as much, whereas like doing the same character over and over, live action, you get tired of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow.
I was also you had this thing where because our kids were kids when it first started, that you see them basically just grow up and go through puberty
Right.
and all that good stuff, and you're like, okay, they didn't really do as much with it as I thought because it was already off the rails by that point.
Right, and it's also kind of just sad to see these young kids who Nancy tried to keep them out of it, and then they just became like poor decision makers over time.
Yeah,
So it's like this is dark and sad.
you've seen Requiem for a Dream, you know what happens. No,
Right.
no. So the story that I've got for you today, it is from fanfiction.net. It is something called Friday Night, and it's by an author named Bobby Jelly. As I do with every story, there will be a link to it in the show notes / description if you want to go check it out for yourself, and also to give the artist credit. So the
Gotcha.
little what?
I said, gotcha.
Yeah.
My bad.
Oh no, that's a thing for the listeners every time. I like say it that way every time. So the little blurb at the beginning is when Celia Hodes asks Nancy Botwin what she's doing Friday night, she never imagines to hit the jackpot. She just cannot wait for some smooth kisses and soft touches that would certainly ensue between the two PTA rivals.
I knew this was gonna take a dark, like, sex fantasy turn. I just knew it when you said you were gonna do weeds.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna do fan fiction, there's like at least a 60% chance you're gonna get something sexy. You know?
Hey, that show was like at its peak while I was at my early years of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I masturbated quite a bit to Nancy Botwin. I'm not gonna lie. So I can't even hate.
With apologies to Mary Louise Parker, I guess.
God, she's so hot. I'm not gonna lie. For as old as she is.
I don't know how old she is. We're the same age. This is weird, man. I don't think I've. A lot of the guests I have are like older comedians. These are like people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, because I started comedy so young, so like most of the people I'm meeting, if they're 26 and doing comedy, they like just started, or they're a few years in.
Yeah, I just started myself. So.
Yeah, so like for me, I started when I was 17.
Oh wow!
So
Shit.
I'm like, I've been in it. All right, let's get into it. So, it all starts when Celia Hodes walks into Nancy Botwin's house while she was preparing batter for special brownies. Celia has a surprising darkness to her eyes, and Nancy feels something twinge inside of her, but she can't piece together what yet. Celia opens, "Have you ever had sex with a woman?" Celia inquires innocently.
Out of nowhere, right? Because that's how women interact with each other. Totally.
Well, like you walk in. First off, she just walked into her house like Kramer style, I guess, like through the back door.
and then just ask her if you want to have sex. Like, this is weird.
Yeah,
This is definitely written by a man, or at least a
definitely.
teenage dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's called Bobby Jelly, Bovvie, so that implies that it's a woman, but
That's
I
fair.
I don't believe them. Or they're in the middle of puberty and this is like, I don't know how to sex. I'm going to try and get my feelings out on paper.
She might be gay. That might be what it is.
Could be a thing. Who knows? I'm not going to try and psychoanalyze a fan fiction writer.
Right.
It is impossible. Excuse me? Nancy is struck aback by Celia's forwardness. For some reason, she doesn't quite want to reveal to Celia her previous lesbian lover. I think I'd like to try it, Celia persisted, searching Nancy's eyes, which somehow mimicked a lustful expression. She was stunned by the admission and somehow not disturbed. With who? Nancy inquired. She kicked herself internally for somehow hoping Celia meant her.
I don't even know what to say there. Like, have you seen Celia from the show? She's not particularly, like, pretty. She just looked like the old, like, stereotypical suburban mom. So,
Yeah, she's got, like, definite Karen energy, for sure.
right.
Because, like, there's that, and then she's got that, like, kind of poisonous, like, I've repressed 20 years of feelings from being uh, married to what was her husband's name? Dean or something?
Dean, yeah,
Dean.
Dean Hodes.
Yeah. And
The dude banging the babysitter and everything.
yeah. I was about to be like, was she the one married to Kevin Nealon? Nope, different one. That imagine Celia Hodes married to Kevin Nealon's character.
They got in the show, I think it was like right after the everything got burned down. She
Yeah.
started banging Kevin Nealon's what's his name?
Doug.
Doug.
I remember
Yeah, she
Doug.
started banging, and they hated each other. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like, Doug is the best character on that show.
Yeah, I agree. Doug or Andy.
Yeah. Let's see. Uh, with who? Really? Okay. She always found Celia very attractive and had a thing for blondes. She missed really soft lips. Anyone, I don't care, Celia mentions casually, not wanting to appear desperate to Nancy, who she secretly thought was mega hot.
That's. I guess this is before the times of like woke culture, and you were allowed to just sleep with whoever you wanted. Which I guess, like, if obviously with consent and everything, but yeah, this is before all of that.
This was
when it
written in
comes
2018, dude. This is like, we're already there.
That's fair. I guess I'll talk about the show. Which
Like weeds in general. Yeah, kinda.
yeah. So
You
you
had
know, you see gay people on TV back then. Was
yeah,
it 2004? I think was the first season.
yeah, because like you had that like wave of political correctness in the '90s, but it was kind of this like superficial thing where it was
Right.
like I don't see color and I have a gay friend or whatever, and then you realize that that was all kind of on the surface and didn't really mean anything.
Right.
And there's a difference between that and like actually including somebody or just being like, okay, yeah, do what you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Um. Okay. Celia didn't want to mention how she stared at Nancy's ass during those PTA meetings and soccer games. She loves to see Nancy slink away and swing her hips. When she looks at Nancy, though, she sees sudden vulnerability, as if she was, like, jealous, almost. She used this to her advantage as she continued. So, I don't know if you've, like... Did you, like, have you ever taken a writing class before?
Yeah.
So you know how there's like different ways of narrating where you have third person omniscient or third person limited. Where
Right.
omniscient is you can see everything, but you can't really get inside a character's head. Whereas third person limited is you only see one character.
Right through their eyes.
Yeah, so it's like first person just with, name he, she, they instead of I. This author is like bouncing back and forth between the two,
Mm-hmm.
where they're like, okay, we can see everything they're doing, but then also this person thinks they're hot, but then we're back out again, and just my
That is the most confusing style of writing I've always found as well.
which one?
The third person, like omniscient.
Yeah.
I've always found it to be very hard to follow what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big ones was, I think, J.R. Tolkien's books, the Lord of the Rings and all that. I'm like, I can't read this shit. Sorry.
I mean, you can curse. It's fine. No, it was definitely one of those things where the omniscience, like, point of view is kind of like trying to listen from around the corner of, like, two people having a conversation. You're like, wait, who? Okay, I know they're over there, but I don't quite know what's going on.
Right.
I wasn't really a fan of it either.
It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm more of a first person kind of guy.
You ever try writing something in second person? That's super weird.
I don't even know if I know what second person is, to be honest with you.
You. Second person is you go there, you do this, you push that button, you open the door, that kind of thing.
Isn't that first person?
No, first person is I.
Oh.
First person is I, second person is you, third person is he, she, they, it, whatever.
Gotcha. Okay, so I misunderstood what you were saying. So you go to... No, I've never read that before. Is that even, like, plausible in a story?
It is. We've actually done an episode with second person. Our Queen episode is a second person story where you're fucking Freddie Mercury, and it starts with his dick inside you.
Oh.
Yeah. It's definitely doable, for sure. I'm sick of men. Maybe I missed my calling. What if I was supposed to be a duke, but just made a wrong turn by mistake? It would explain a hell of a lot. By this time, Nancy was only seeing lips moving but not hearing words. She was looking longingly at Celia's lips and wondered what she tasted like, what she felt like.
I've been there.
With who?
Lots of people, unfortunately.
Oh,
I'm a horn dog. So.
Fair enough.
Seeing lips move and not hearing shit.
I try and listen. I've definitely been a victim of that too, or just yeah.
You ever been on the other angle of that though?
What? Where they're not listening to you?
Yeah.
I did it during the contest, the bit about my dad where he doesn't really react to anything. So like he just kind of
yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, where he just kind of says what he was gonna say no matter what you said beforehand. And yeah, definitely there are people like that.
He has like selected statements to say after everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody says.
Yeah, it's like a NPC dialogue.
Do I need to go on a quest after this?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Here's the thing. I really want to fuck around on Dean, but the thought of having to put one more cock in my mouth is just too depressing. Nancy had to hold back the urge to take the blonde-haired woman into her arms and comfort her. I'm not sure if a vagina would be any improvement, she snarked, not wanting to seem too interested either. But it came out flirtatiously. So many grammatical errors in that sentence, where it's like T-O instead of T-O-O and stuff. It's really hard for me to express that to the listener, because you kind of have to see it for yourself. But just believe me. Pity me.
And you're trying to read it out loud real smooth like.
It's kind of undoable. Some of these episodes, I trip over myself constantly because it's like, oh god.
Fan fiction.
Fan fiction. Oh, maybe you're right. Vagina really sleeves me out. Not steves me out. Sleeves me out.
I agree.
Really sleeves me out. That whole mirror investigation thing we did when we were young is truly a rude awakening. Celia joked to conceal her nerves. Have you ever had sex with a woman? Celia refocused. None of your business. Nancy turned away in blushing embarrassment. How was it? Celia inquired, genuinely curious. She hoped Nancy would describe the experience in great detail.
Great detail.
Yeah, you had like little ellipsis there. So for the listeners, I just did like a little type in great detail.
Yeah, you like winked at me and whatnot.
Yeah, it's hot. Boring, Nancy added quickly. Well, yeah, maybe you didn't do it right. Celia didn't want to be outdone by sarcastic jokes. She said I was the best she ever had, Nancy said too dreamily. Celia started to fantasize, then, of Nancy between her legs, and she didn't even build up the courage, just went for it. So what are you doing Friday night? Celia husks with a low voice. Nancy struts over behind her and whispers in her ear, You, Celia, now, bring some wine. Celia had never been more surprised by a Nancy Botwin in her whole damn life.
I mean, she's gonna be real surprised by the whole like pot slinging later.
Yeah, definitely. Wait, doesn't she like get in on it or something?
Yeah, in and out. Like she gets in, tricks Nancy into thinking she's in on it, and then she goes and rats to the feds. But it backfires because they found all the weed in Celia's house, so they just assumed that she was trying to throw like blame onto Nancy. So it kind of all went back to her.
I haven't watched this show since like college, like 2015 or something like that. So
yeah, it's about when I watched it, but I got one of those like weird like obsessive personalities when it comes to television.
Oh, where you like have to find out everything about the show and the canon and the all that
No,
stuff?
I don't do all that. I just watch it over and over again.
Oh. I do this thing where if I get into like, especially after I go see a movie, the first thing I do after I get out of that movie is look up the IMDb trivia for it. I don't know. It's just something I gotta do where you have like a dude who's like, oh, this line was improvised, or, you know.
The only thing that I do that with is the MCU movies, because there's so much going on in all those movies. By the time the next one comes out, if you miss even like a little piece, I feel like you're missing an important like subplot that breaks off into an entire movie. So I go and read about all of that shit just so I'm like up to date on the next movie.
Right.
I actually really enjoy those movies a lot.
I liked some of them. I didn't really get into it all that much. I would go see some of them. Others you just look up on Wikipedia and then get familiarized.
You got to be easy because your viewers, man. Everybody's an MCU fan now.
What? I guess I'm not like ripping on the movies. It's just the thing where I wasn't all that into it. That was it.
I can understand, but I said Iron Man was one of the like lesser movies.
The first one.
The second and the third specifically. The first one was good.
Yeah,
but when I shat on the Iron Man movies, and it was about the same reaction as when I shat on dogs the other day.
Yeah, we didn't take too kindly to you being like, I hate dogs, and then we were like, are you a cat person? You're like, I hate cats too. Like, fuck you, dude.
It's a fixer-upper joke. I'm working on it.
Yeah, it's really hard to be like, dogs they're not just man's best friend. It's not even like a colloquial thing. They evolved alongside humans. You're trying to undo millions of years of DNA that's been baked into both of us.
I'm trying to like poke holes in the logic. It's very hard when nobody wants to hear. Everybody's like closing their ears. I don't want to hear it.
Myself included. Have you ever like had a dog had a dog?
I have a dog. I actually really love my dog. I don't actually hate dogs. I don't mean that joke.
Oh, it's just a joke.
It's funny. It's funny for me to see everybody angry at me for no reason at all.
What do you know? They have a great reason. What are you talking about?
Oh, I have an opinion about dogs, and everybody's mad now.
Yeah, because your opinion's wrong.
That's a real reason. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's wrong, and I have no qualifications, and I don't lead anything. I'm not a politician. I'm not a cop. And everybody's mad at me all of a sudden, and I just ruined their night. That's funny for me. I don't know why.
If you say so. Ugh. I want to pet a dog now. There's no my apartment doesn't allow pets.
Oh.
Otherwise, I'd probably get a cat. I feel like I've become more of a cat person over time.
The cats still destroy your apartment. I'm surprised they don't allow cats.
I think it's because it's the hair and like the dander. I think that's
Makes sense.
You got a lot of people who are allergic to cats. My roommate included, which sucks because otherwise that's the other thing keeping me from getting a cat.
It sounds like you need to get rid of your roommate.
Maybe. All right, so there's like a little chapter break there. It's like a little, like, you know how in a book there'll be like the little like 3 dots or like a little swirly thing or a line, something like that. It was one of those. And with that, the date was settled. Celia Hodes was glee with anticipation of her date, and admittedly Nancy was a bit wet at the thought of the attractive blonde's weight on her thighs. That was the sentence.
I agree.
The comma key on my keyboard's broken, apparently. What?
That's just so wild that somebody wrote this.
Yeah. That's the reason this show exists, is for stuff like this. Or is because of stuff like this. When Friday night rolls around, she sits with her legs crossed, left over right, on the couch. Celia remembers the door is unlocked and strides in a semi-length green dress and her hair all done. Her makeup makes her look innocent. Ironic. Nancy has been anticipating this moment for a while, and she can't wait to dive in. Celia strides over to Nancy, and she wishes she was seated too with Nancy wearing a strapless cobalt blue number and a necklace. "Hello, Nancy," Celia whispers in her ear. "Hello, Celia," she whispers back. "Tonight there will be no talk of town council, of children, or of husbands. Tonight it was all just girls want to have fun." And they capitalize that like the title of the song.
I feel like this would have been more interesting if they had like Andy in the background gushing over all of this and being like, "Can I, like film it or whatever?"
Yeah, exactly.
Being like the creepy Andy that he is.
Yeah, it's I don't understand it either, because like it just seems like they're, well, first off, when they say there's no talk of children or of husbands, Nancy's kids have to be home during this, right?
Yeah, assumably.
They're like, "Mom, Miss Hodes, what are you doing here? Why are you guys dressed like you're going to prom? What are you doing?" You know?
Is there something we should know about?
Yeah.
Other than the pot slinging? I don't know. I just feel like that's too much attention. You don't want to like be banging your friend's wife while you're slinging dope in suburbia.
Yeah.
But I guess a suburban mom wouldn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Man, that show. Did that show end like when weed became like legal in California?
It ended in 2012, so it was like that was the year I believe Colorado and Washington legalized weed. I think California legalized weed.
We were like 4th or 5th.
Yeah, what, 2016 was it? 2017.
I remember being old enough to vote, and that was in 2012 when we were old enough to vote. So, sometime after 2012, we legalized weed, but it would just be really funny if they kept the show going, and then weed gets legalized, and then they're like, "Well, damn it."
Well, supposedly they're like rebooting it or whatever. Like, you know how every show now gets like another run.
Yeah.
Like Full House and what was the other big one?
Animaniacs,
like Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World, Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. Weeds is doing that, and Dexter is doing that now for sure.
Christ. I'm just fucking over it, dude.
Just stop.
Yeah. I would love to see...
Go ahead.
I want to hear like a version of Because I Got High, where because there's no stigma on it anymore and it's legal in a lot of states, it's just like him going on with his life because everybody's getting high pretty much all the time now, and it's like, it's fine.
Pitch it to Afroman.
I tweeted at him, he didn't answer.
How old is that guy now? He's got to be like in his 50s.
I think so. I have to Google this. Where he's like, I was gonna clean my room, but then I got high. I was gonna get up and find the broom, but I did, because, like, you can get high and do other stuff now. That's, like, a thing. Oh.
It's always been a thing.
Yeah. Let's see. He was born in 1974, so he is...
Oh, he's about my mom's age.
He's like he's like in his 40s, yeah. So, you know, that's the thing. Or, like, Because I Got High came out in, like, what, early mid-2000s? He's...
Something like that, yeah.
So he would have been, like, late 20s, early 30s when he was doing it.
Well, yeah, around our age now.
Yeah.
So, that makes sense. And by that point, there was, like, no end in sight, it seemed like, for marijuana legality.
Yeah.
So.
And then now the House is voting on, making it legal nationwide. You know.
Oh, for real? Are they? I didn't know that.
It's coming up, yeah. I assume it's gonna pass the House and then sit on Mitch McConnell's desk because he fucking sucks, and they need to fucking vote in the Georgia runoff. If you live there, please vote for the
Georgia blue this year. Right? I believe it was Georgia.
It did. It went blue because of Stacey Abrams and her group. They. After, yeah. So hopefully we can flip the Senate and then it's Senate Minority Leader.
I was hoping it went blue and not just they didn't like Trump. So we're actually red. We just don't like Trump. Because I feel like a lot of states did that. There's a lot of red states were like, oh yeah, fuck Trump. So they went blue, like Arizona.
Yeah.
Nevada. So.
Nevada is basically Carson City, Reno, and Las Vegas, and the rest is just desert and military bases. There's not really a lot there.
You think all the prostitutes, they'd be pretty blue.
Yeah. Prostitute is someone who loves you. Okay, so...
I don't have a problem with sex work. I actually really
me neither.
Support sex work.
Yeah.
So, just for your viewers, to let them know that.
Or really all, like, sex workers and, like, drugs, if they want to decriminalize all the stuff just so you're not wasting prison time and, like, you can regulate everything, that would be good.
I think it would put cops in a better mood, too. I think it would really fix the whole police brutality issue.
Well, no, that's like a systemic thing. You gotta, like, defund the police and use more...
I mean, I agree with that, too, but I think it would bring the pressure off of them, because, you know, if you're at a certain level... we were talking about Breaking Bad, The Wolf of Wall Street earlier. I remember when Matthew McConaughey was saying, you're up here all the time, those numbers are stressing you out. So if you're constantly running into people who are doing drugs or prostituting themselves and it's illegal, then you're just assuming everyone's a criminal constantly. Because everyone does drugs, one way or another. Weed. I know a lot of people do coke, so... Yeah.
In LA especially, coke is just kind of this thing where, like, they're not really subtle about it. They're just like, yeah, we did it at a party once. It wasn't for me. It's like someone being like, hey, you want to try like squash with me? And you're like, I don't know, it's just not my sport. That's coke, basically.
Right. It's like, I tried to be a vegan for a summer.
Yeah. Veganism, I think I would be more into if it worked like Scott Pilgrim and you got telekinesis by being vegan.
Yeah, okay, that would be understandable.
That'd be one of those things where, like, you know what, I can do Impossible Burgers forever if I can move stuff with my mind. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to do it.
There's no benefit to it. You're just tired and angry all the time.
Yeah. Or you gotta, like, take vitamins to, like, get the nutrients.
Just eat the meat.
Yeah. All right. Where were we? Girls just want to have fun. Okay. Celia sits next to Nancy and cups her face with her right hand before closing her eyes and pressing her lips to Nancy's. She sucks her bottom lip and sighs at the delicious taste. Nancy tastes like white wine and sugar, and it's so soft and so much sweeter than men. She doesn't miss the roughage of facial hair and loves the smoothness of their faces. Nancy smiles into the kiss and wraps her arms around Celia's neck, pulling her closer. They open their eyes briefly to uncover testing expressions, realizing that each of the women are liking the contact. Nancy now takes Celia's bottom lip and sucks it hard. She rolls it over with... What?
This was definitely written by somebody who's about to come out of the closet.
You think so?
Oh yeah. I don't miss the beard and everything. She was fuck man.
Oh, so well at first we thought it was like a guy, and now we think it's a woman.
Yeah, because it got like very detailed with how much she doesn't miss men.
Yeah.
And with the facial hair, and women are sweeter than dudes and shit like that. I'm like, oh, this woman just is about to come out of the closet. I get what's happening here.
Maybe, or it's a guy who's trying to be like, I don't know how to lesbian. I'm just gonna guess.
Right. Either way, this person has not actually slept with a woman.
Yeah. Either they really want to, or they're like trying to come to terms with the fact that they'll never do it.
Right.
Jesus Christ, dude. This story. Celia cups Nancy's face with both hands and she moans into their French kisses. That making out becomes more and more messy, but always precise and never sloppy. Well, which is it? Is it messy or precise and never sloppy?
I don't know, but it don't sound good either way.
It's like a fucking Starburst commercial. What? It's a juicy contradiction.
I'm dead after that. Oh my god, that was good.
Thank you. What were you gonna say? I cut you off.
You ever had like a messy makeout session? Like I'm not for it. Like honestly.
Me neither.
Can we clean this up? I don't know. It's wet and it's not in the right places.
It's always the thing where like you come up and you have like just a beard of spit.
It sticks.
Yeah. Well, because you and I both have beards, so
right.
it just kind of gets caught in the webbing more or less.
Oh my god.
Shoutouts to my girlfriend because she is a very, very, very good kisser. And I am surprised that she still continues to kiss me because it's like a thing where I'm like a dog, just like a no. Got like this big tongue.
I'm right there, but I gotta give my girl a shout out too.
Yeah.
Because I don't shave really. I just kind of go with the buzzer and clip it down.
Mm-hmm.
I've had the same beard for 10 years damn near now.
Mm-hmm.
So
same here. Right. Why did you grow yours?
Because I look 12. I still look 12.
Are we the same person?
We might be brothers because I don't know my dad. So.
Oh, okay. Maybe. Yeah, because like with the beard, it's we have a table right here for you, sir, and without the beard, it's can I see your ID?
Right.
Yeah.
I always pull my ID out, and they're like,
"Just go."
Oh, you're good. I'm like, you are 60 years old, and I don't need an ID.
Or like you pull your ID out, they're like, well, either you're of age or that's like a super good fake beard and game recognized game. Get in there, you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Celia can't resist straddling Nancy and lowering her onto the pillows of the couch. She flits her tongue into Nancy's mouth, and Nancy absolutely loves having tongue inside of her.
Same.
That was a sentence. She loves receiving this insertion and throws her head back in pleasure. She fixes Nancy's hair off of her face and kisses her forehead before moving to her neck. She plants a trail of little kisses up to Nancy's ear while Nancy has her hand on Celia's waist. She's so thin and has strong abs, and it totally turns Nancy on. Oh, God.
You know, every time you read a little bit, I feel like sometimes you're like overplaying what it actually says. But then I realize I see your eyes roll, and then I'm like, he's actually reading that.
You're welcome to follow along if you want to. Like here, there's the link if you want to look for yourself. I am reading it exactly as it is written. Unfortunately, that is exactly how it is written.
It's completely overdone, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to do porn, like written porn. It's inevitably going to be a little hamish or a little over the top.
There's things that just shouldn't be like written out, like porn. What we do, stand up comedy, just there are things that don't need to be written. There's a video or audio for a reason.
Well, the written porn I can understand because there's like that rich tradition of suburban housewives being like, I'm reading this while my children are at school, and it gets
Why
my
can't you watch porn if your kids are at school?
what?
Why can't you watch porn if your kids are at school?
Oh, this is I'm talking about like in the 40s and 50s where it's like you keep it hidden under the mattress so the husband doesn't find it, and like
Yeah, but that was a long ass time ago. At this
that's
point.
what I'm
We've
saying.
had
Rich
that since
tradition.
the 90s.
You got that, and then like all the way up through like 50 Shades of Grey and all that other good stuff where it's just sort of hot.
I think women love that 50 Shades of Grey shit. I watched the movie; it was terrible, but they all told me don't base it off the movie. So, whatever.
I just imagine somebody going into 50 Shades of Grey and they're like, they're leaving out all the good parts. The book's better than the movie, and they're like telling it to their boyfriend who they dragged along, and they're like, I mean, I guess I don't really care, you know.
I told my girl, I was like, this is Batman. If Batman didn't like have like a need for justice and really was just rapey, and then my girl like hated me forever after that.
That's a real dark assessment of what 50 Shades of Grey is. I've never read the book or seen the movie. I just kind of vaguely know what it is.
It's just a rich dude with a sex dungeon. That's essentially Batman. Batman was a rich dude with a basement full of gear.
Mm-hmm.
So,
damn, that is Batman. Fuck. That's like aggressively Batman.
Right, it's the same thing. It's just one took his like anger for his parents dying a different way. That's all it was.
Damn. Now I'm trying to think of like movie. You ever watch a movie and you're like, "Fuck, that's just whatever it is." Like do you watch American Dad at all?
Sometimes, yeah. I'm more of a Family Guy kind of guy, but yeah.
Did you ever see the episode where they accidentally kill Santa, and then Santa is revived and decides to spend all of Christmas trying to kill the Smith family, and they have to fight him off for the entirety of Christmas Eve?
No, I didn't see that one. I'm gonna check it out now.
Yeah. So I was like telling that to a friend of mine. I was like, "This is American Dad has great Christmas specials," and then they go, "That's just the robot Santa from Futurama," and I was like, "Fuck, it is." And like there's some differences where it's he has like his elves and his reindeer coming after them, and they have to like hole up in this like redneck shack up in the mountains, and they're like fighting him off with guns. Whereas like Futurama, it almost seems like they just kind of hide in their house at home, and there's no fighting. It's just kind of avoidance.
Right. Yeah, that's.
But yeah,
A little more fun out.
American Dad has great Christmas specials. There's one where the rapture happens on Christmas Eve, and and Stan and Francine get left behind, and they have to survive the apocalyptic landscape with Jesus, who's come down to Earth.
Which that's just This Is the End, but animated.
But that's way before This Is the End. This is
This Is the End is just that.
Then. Yeah. There's one where the ghost of Christmas Past comes to like teach him a lesson, and while they're in the past and she's showing him stuff, he just runs off. And then she's got to go. She's like, "Oh, hang on," and then she like goes to the present, gets Francine, goes back to the past, and they gotta go track him down. There's one where he's like obsessed with having the most perfect Christmas ever, and then he dies, and there's like a trial for whether he deserves to go back to Earth, and it's all this. It's always wacky shit every year.
That's Seth MacFarlane who does that one too, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't do as much with the writing. He's more just he does a lot of voices, and there's like a lot of different writers like Mike Barker and few others. They've been on They were on Family Guy in the early seasons.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I always enjoyed Seth MacFarlane's stuff.
yeah, me too. You
And
watched The Orville?
The Orville. I haven't actually. I haven't gotten a chance to actually check that out yet.
I highly recommend that one because it's like he tried to get a Star Trek show and then they wouldn't give him the rights to it, so he's like, all right, I'll make my own with blackjack and hookers.
Oh, that's great. That makes me really want to watch that now.
So it's like it's like 80% Star Trek and about 20% like Seth MacFarlane quippiness. It's good.
Oh, I gotta go watch that now then. Shit.
Leaves the episode. Where the fuck did he go? He's like, I'm watching the Orville. Damn.
You just see like the Orville theme music, or you hear it from the distance.
Oh, like the screen's left blank and you just see like the light off to the side there.
Right.
All right. Celia kisses up Nancy's ear and whispers, "Do you like it?" "Yes," Nancy whispers. "I like it. A lot, actually." They smile at each other, and Nancy then kisses on Celia's neck, sucking just very softly so as not to leave marks. Celia nuzzles into Nancy's embrace, and she moves her hands to Nancy's waist. Nancy is very tall and taut, and she just loves the feel of her curves in her palms. Celia is feeling more aroused right now, and she wants more contact.
I'm kind of with it, to be honest with you.
I guess.
Is that weird?
No, it's not weird. It's I'm just obsessed with like I've had to kind of smooth over bad spelling and missing letters and stuff.
Oh, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. She palms Nancy's right breast in her hand and fondles it gently. She massages it like she likes it herself and seals her lips back onto Nancy's. They kiss in rhythm, with Nancy experimenting with a little tongue into Celia. Celia enjoys the play of dominance and their actions intensify. Celia palms Nancy's other breast now, marveling at its roundness and its softness. She had never touched breasts other than her own, and she felt like she had sorely missed out. Yeah, this is definitely written by a dude who's never gotten laid before. It has to have been.
I was gonna go the other way because when the author said Celia grabbed her right breast, I'm thinking any dude would just say grabbed her titty, not specific on which one it was.
Maybe. I was thinking the guy was like, I want to make it eloquent, so he goes to thesaurus.com and puts titties in there. Breast, boob, knockers, etc.
Still, I think the jury's out on either way. Still,
I mean, I leave it to the listener. Do you think it was written by a guy or a girl?
Yeah, write it in. Let us know.
Put it in the comments. Smash that like button if you're on YouTube, or just tell a friend about the show.
And follow and subscribe.
Yeah. I never understood smash that like button. I've always wanted to just add more and more verbs to it. So instead of eviscerate that like button, take that like button outside and shoot it in the back of the head, old Yeller style, shit like that.
Heavily thrust it.
Yeah, heavily thrust that like button. Disgusting. Holy shit. At this point, she feels quite aroused and wet, and Celia begins to move her hips up and down on Nancy's body. She can feel Nancy reach around her back as she grinded her center into Nancy's stomach. It felt so good. It felt so right. Aren't those song lyrics? It felt so...
Possibly.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry, and that's It Felt So Wrong, It Felt So Right.
Which is kind of a similar premise here.
Yes. Premise?
I don't know how to read.
Premise.
Yeah, there you go.
I just imagine you being like, yeah, the wind is blowing.
Fuck you.
Although, admittedly, for longer than I'm willing to admit, I thought that a screening of a movie in the middle of the day was called a manatee screening for way longer than was appropriate.
You know what though? I couldn't even begin to spell matinee. If that makes you feel any better.
Yeah, well, it's like Matine or Nee or something like
Yeah, I
that.
think it's a French word, so it ends with
Yeah.
a E.
But like I would see that and like I would get kind of dyslexia a little bit and be like, "Oh, it's a manatee screening. Wonder why that's named that." And they're like, "Dude, you're
Is this about
19."
Seabiscuit?
Yeah, wasn't Seabiscuit a horse?
Yeah,
Well, he's got C in the name. Fuck, you know.
right. Seahorse.
Yeah. Okay. She loved the caress and cuddles, and it felt so warm and affectionate. Nancy was a compassionate lover, and she finally reaches up to touch Celia's breasts. Touch is spelled Touche, so it says to touche Celia's,
Shay, right.
Celia's breasts.
Oh my goodness.
She loves how the smooth fabric feels against her skin. Celia intertwined one of Nancy's hands with her own and brings it up by Nancy's ear. Nancy looks sideways at it as they pause their sweet kisses. "How are you doing, Nancy?" Celia inquires. Nancy's smile gives way. It's delicious and so soft, Nancy. You're so soft," she replies. What? Was she talking about herself?
Yeah, I'm confused on that one
Wait,
myself.
how are you doing, Nancy? Celia inquires. Nancy's smile gives way. It's delicious and so soft, Nancy. You're so soft.
So is she talking about herself?
I think they just got it flipped where I think they wanted
Yeah.
Nancy.
Clearly, Celia was supposed to be in there somewhere.
I think Celia was supposed to be the second one and Nancy's supposed to be the first one. And they got it flipped or something.
There was no proofreading involved when publishing this fan fiction.
Oh, not at all. This is, I did it in first period for a paper due in second period and just fucking like ran to the computer lab between classes. That's what this comes off as.
What class would this be submitted as an essay?
Erotica? I'm not sure.
Is that a class? I had to take that class.
There was a class I took in college called Biology 30 that was about like human sexuality. We all called it Dirty 30.
30.
Yeah, so
Why is it 30?
it's just the number. That,
Gotcha.
instead of like 101, it's 30. It's just what it was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I figured it was going to be like, oh, this is what sexuality is like once you hit 30. The lines are blurred. By now, you've had a threesome. You've experimented with your best friend.
I've never had a threesome. Wait, am I like behind? I turned 27 in February.
Or you see, you're 20. Yeah, you're 26. I'm 26. Neither one of us have had a threesome yet. But by the time you're 30, you're supposed to have one. This is what I've been told by 30-year-olds.
Cole, I know we live across the country from each other, but do you want to reach a milestone together?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Let's go. Okay. Okay. Do you want to keep doing it, Nance? She asks. Yeah. Let's not move on further for now, but let's just keep making out. And can you touch my breasts again? I like that. Oh my god. This is so confusing. I want to vomit. Celia smiles and fulfills Nancy. Wait, hang on. If they're making out and they're like, "Yeah, this is awesome. Do you want to fuck?" No, this is good. Let's just keep making out.
Who says no?
Well, you can say no, but usually it's I got work in the morning, or my kids are home, or someone's gonna hear us. Not no, I'm good. Let's just I'm done.
This is it. I'm good with the messy but not sloppy kisses.
Yeah. Well, especially if they're gonna get all dolled up for each other. I don't know. Part of me thinks it's like either this is bad writing, or this is like a guy perspective that we're giving here, and like maybe it's a woman thing where they're just like, yeah, you can just make out and not want to go any further. Happens.
It's got to be a thing because I've run into that situation quite a bit with women before. They're like, "Oh, well, I'm done." Are you serious? All right. Well, I'm gonna go home and beat off now.
Yeah. This is why I miss I I feel like Chris would have been good for this episode. Chris is my co-host that pops in occasionally, and they have like a more female perspective because they're gender non-binary, but they were born female, so they
Yeah.
at least have that perspective that I don't have. And maybe they can tell us what happened. I'm not sure. I will ask them.
This is going in and being like processed by our dude minds and coming out more dude like every minute.
Oh
So
yeah, no, it's definitely a thing where like maybe like take our opinions with a grain of salt. We're two white dudes. Like, come on, man.
right, who have
Take
never had a threesome, so we're very inexperienced.
right, of course. um. Okay, Celia smiles and fulfills Nancy's request as she takes both breasts in her palms now and kisses Nancy again, teasing her bottom lip over and over and over. Nancy feels the heat pool between her legs and she enjoys the pace, kissing and being kisses. I assume that's supposed to be kissed, but typos. Touching and being touched. It's not rushes, just passionate, and neither woman wanted to stop. But it's late, and they're not ready for a sleepover just yet. So finally, Celia unwinds her legs and she puts her does back on. I assume she means shoes.
This is not even close.
That's not that you're missing a letter, and you're like, wait, like I can understand the like, if it was
Not only are you
shoes, like DH, like that S and D are next to each other on a keyboard.
right,
They just did the word DOES does.
so it was going to be SOES.
Oh, they thought that was shoes, maybe.
Close enough.
Nancy
First
walks.
get to the H before you get to the O.
I don't know. Nancy walks her to the door and they kiss again, hands all over each other. They try and make it to the door before Nancy presses Celia against the wall. She intertwines her hands and squeezes gently as they melt into each other's lips again. Celia leans against the wall and clings tighter. Nancy finally has to have the last move and pulls away fully. See you soon, Celia, she husks. Let's do this again soon, okay? And go a little bit further, Nancy teases as she places her palm against the pain of Celia's stomach. Celia reaches to bring Nancy's hand up her shirt, but Nancy pulls away with one final kiss on the cheek. Both women go to bed that night craving more. They dream of each other sinfully, the sapphic sense in them breaking free.
Why didn't this happen in the show?
I mean, Nancy sleeps with a lot of women in the show, so it's not far fetched for these two women to sleep with each other. But like, what's stopping them from going further if they're like, oh, I wish I went further?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, this is somebody who's never slept with a woman before, I think.
Maybe.
So they just want to. I think this is written by somebody who really wants to, doesn't know how to like write about it because it's never happened.
Maybe. I mean, here's the thing. That's the end of that chapter. There are 12 of these things. Or
Oh my goodness.
wait, if you're watching, I think yeah, this is 12 from your end. 12 of these freaking chapters of what I can only imagine is somebody who like took a blow to the head and was like, "All right, I got to write this fanfic. Come hell or high water."
They were watching whatever episode that was and then just got real horny from it. Because there is an episode where Celia does ask Nancy if she had slept with a woman, and this was before Nancy had come out, was sleeping with women.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think it was like first season.
Mm-hmm.
So they were watching the first season and watched the episode and then just like, was like, and then they didn't watch the rest of the show apparently.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, for the listener, I definitely recommend checking this out, if only for the train wreck of what it is. But Cole, thank you so much for coming on Bad Reading.
Hey man, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Where can people find you and follow you out there on social media?
So on social media, you can find me at sniffingglue22. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah.
Is that really the handle?
Twitch, Xbox Live, all of it. Yeah, that's my brand.
Is that
sniffingglue22.
Is that sniffing with two G's or just one?
Two G's. Sniffing, INGGLUE.
22.
I always want to put a Y there. I don't know why, but there's no Y.
Oh, I didn't know if it was that or if it was like sniffing glue. Like,
yeah, a lot of people ask me that, actually, so it's a fair question. I didn't even think of it before.
Yeah.
Recently, I've been asked a lot, so.
Any other things you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, catch me with Eargasm Comedy. We do sketches, we do open mics, we do comedy competitions. I host from time to time. We have a couple of shows that we do, Deep Space, Random Tandem, and then I have my own podcast, the greatest goddamn show on air, which that's the title. It's not like me coming out and telling everyone this is a better show. We talk to anyone and everyone. We try to have a different kind of person on every episode, talk about their life, and there's no out of bounds topics. We let the guests kind of lead the show, and yeah, we just get to know people. Our goal for that show is to, like, if we have, like, say a small business owner on the show as our guest, we want to bring more of an audience and people to his or her small business, things like that, or a comedian or an actor or something. Hey, focus on this person. So
you can find me at Atlas Novak on Twitter or Instagram, or you can find the show at Bad Reading Pod. As I said before, eviscerate the like button.
Eviscerate. Heavy thrust.
Yeah, heavy thrust the like button. Tell a friend about the show if you liked it. There's an episode for everyone probably, and inevitably anyway. And then thanks everybody for listening. Wash your goddamn hands, wear a mask, and have a good night, everybody.